Alright everyone, welcome back.
エセ神父、教会の人間が魔術協会の肩を持つのね。
私は神に仕える身だ。教会に仕えているわけではない。
よく言うわ。だからエセなのよ、あんたは。
And Tosaka turns her back to the priest. After that, she just makes her way to the exit without saying goodbye.
おい、そんなんでいいのか、トサカ。あいつお前の兄弟子なんだろ。なら
Shouldn't there be a more proper farewell?
いいわよ、そんなの。むしろ縁が切れてせいせいするぐらいだもの。そんなことより、あなたも外に出なさい。もうこの教会に用はないから。
Tosaka walks across the floor without stopping and really leaves. I sigh and follow her. And then I feel a presence behind me and turn around. The priest who was behind me before I knew it is looking down on me.
なんだよ。まだなんかあるっていうのか。
I back off as I say so. Just as I thought, I don't like him. Maybe we're just incompatible or something, but I can't get myself to like him.
話がないなら帰るからな。
I make my way to the door, trying to escape his stare. As I go,
喜べ少年。君の願いはようやく叶う。
the priest says as if declaring an oracle. Those words aren't those the true feelings I haven't yet realized?
何をいきなり。
分かっていたはずだ。明確な悪がいなければ君の望みは叶わない。たとえそれが君にとって容認し得ぬものであろうと、正義の味方には倒すべき悪が必要だ。
I feel like everything has turned black. The priest said it. The greatest wish and the ugliest wish I have are the same. Yes, the desire to protect something is, at the same time, none other than the wish for something to violate it.
お前。
But there's no way I'd wish for something like that. I don't remember a moment when I wished for that. Such an insecure wish. Just means the target ideals are inconsistent. But the priest says as if to pierce my heart, good thing you have an enemy now.
何？取り繕うことはない。君の葛藤は人間としてとても正しい。
I shake off the priest's words and walk to the door.
さらばだ、エミヤシロ。最後の忠告になるが、帰り道には気をつけたまえ。これより君の世界は一変する。君は殺し、殺される側の人間になった。その身はすでにマスターなのだからな。
As soon as I leave, the pressure on my shoulders lifts. Certainly, you could say that getting away from that priest helped, but Tosaka standing out in her uniform, and the blonde-haired girl in the raincoat standing near her make a strangely well-matched sight that somehow takes the pressure off me. Saber is silent as always. She's looking at me, so it seems she's interested in the decision I made.
行きましょう。町に戻るまでは一緒でしょ、私たち。
Tosaka starts walking. Following after, we leave the church as well. The three of us descend the hill together. We didn't talk much on the way here, but there's even less to talk now. Even dull as I am, I know why. After what happened at the church, I truly became a master. And that must be the reason Tosaka is walking a little apart from us. I understand that. I understand, but I don't like thinking about Tosaka like that.
トサカ、お前のサーバント大丈夫なのか？
え？あ、うん。あーちゃんなら無事よ。 まあセイバーにやられたダメージは簡単に消えそうにないから、しばらく実体化はさせられないだろうけど。
じゃあそばにはいないのか？
ええ、私の家でかくまってる状態。今他のサーバントに襲われたら不利だから、傷が治るまでは有利な場所で敵に備えさせてるの。
I see. Unlike my house, I'll bet Tosaka's house is well prepared against attacks. A house like a fortress for a magus. They will not lose as long as they stay there. That must mean enemies will not attack you as long as you stay on your home ground. I see. The boundary field in my house is merely an alarm against intruders, but even having that makes a big difference.
そういえば遠坂、さっきやつ聖杯戦争の監督役って言ってたけどさ、あいつお前のサーバントを知ってるのか？
知らないはずよ。私教えてないもの。
そうなのか。お前とあいつ仲がいいからそうだと思ってたけど。
あのね、ミヤ君、忠告しておくけど、自分のサーバントの正体は誰にも教えちゃダメよ。たとえ信用できる相手でも黙っておきなさい。そうでないと早々に消えることになるから。
セイバーの正体って何さ？
だからサーバントがどこの英雄かっていうことよ。いくら強いからって戦力を明かしてちゃいつか寝首をかかれるに決まってるでしょ。いいから後でセーバーから新名を教えてもらいなさい。そうすれば私の言ってることがわかる。けどちょっとタンマ、エミヤ君はあれだからいっそ教えてもらわない方がいいわね。
That's also true.
なんでさ？
エミヤ君隠し事できないものなら知らない方が秘密にできるじゃない？
あのな、人を何だと思ってるんだ。それぐらいの駆け引きはできるぞ俺。
そう？じゃあ私に隠していることとかある？
遠坂に隠してることってそれは。
I say as my face fires up. I don't have a guilty conscience, but, well, would kind of admiring her count as something I'm hiding from her?
ほら見なさい。何を隠しているか知らないけど動揺が顔に出るようじゃ向いてないわ。あなたは他にいいところがあるんだから駆け引きなんて考えるのはやめなさい。
それじゃ遠坂はどうなんだよ。あの神父にも黙ってるってことはあいつも信用してないってことか？
綺麗？まさか。私あいつを信用するほどおめでたくないわ。あいつはね、教会から魔術協会にくら替えしたくせにまだ教会に在籍している食わせ者なのよ。
Tosaka says with annoyance. It seems she really doesn't trust that priest. I'm a bit relieved, but still, her words do seem to hold a bit of affection. And we pass the bridge. There's no conversation between us now. The cold winter air and our cold breath, a faint sound of flowing water and the white street lamps that light up the bridge. Small things like that are engraved into my memory. Oddly, I didn't think about looking at Tosaka, who's walking next to me. Right now, it seems walking on a bridge at night together like this is more precious than seeing her face. Me, Tosaka, and the girl called Saber I know nothing about. We walk together, without doing much. We reach the intersection. The intersection that leads to our houses, the place where we must part with Tosaka.
ここでお別れね。義理は果たしたし、これ以上一緒にいると何かと面倒でしょ。きっぱり別れて、明日からは敵同士にならないと。
Do we really have to, though? It must be to end the ambiguous position we're in right now. Tosaka starts talking and cuts off suddenly. From that I realize, she did not explain the rules to me out in any sense of obligation. She just supported me, understanding the situation I'm in, and acted fairly. So things are back to normal once the explanations are over. I'll just be her target as a master now. But if so, what she just said was strange. Tosaka must have meant that it would be difficult to fight if she feels empathy for me. For Tosaka, everything that happened tonight must have been unnecessary. It would be troublesome if we stay together any longer. If she is going to say something like that, she should have left us alone from the beginning. Tosaka's smart, so she should know that all too well. But still, she set aside all thought of loss or gain and helped me out. So what happened tonight was totally out of good faith. The Tosaka in front of me is too different from how she is at school. Even when I put it nicely, she's sour, cranky, unapproachable, and she's so different that I want to scream out. Man, it feels almost like a fraud. Yet still, Tosaka Rin is just how everyone thought she was.
なんだ。登坂っていいやつなんだな。
は？何よ突然。おだてだって手は抜かないわよ。
I know that. She won't go easy on me, and that's why she said it would be a bother if she feels empathy for me.
知ってる。けど、できれば敵同士にはなりたくない。俺、お前みたいなやつは好きだ。
Tosaka falls silent for some reason. I hear Tosaka's house is in the western-style district in the opposite direction to my place. Since she's taken care of me until now, I'd like to walk her home, but...
とにかくサーバントがやられたら迷わずさっきの教会に逃げ込みなさいよ。そうすれば命だけは助かるんだから。
それは気が引けるけど、一応聞いておく。けど、そんなことにはならないだろう。どう考えてもセイバーより俺の方が短命だ。
I calmly analyze the situation. Tosaka reacts strangely once again. After laying out his side, she glances at Saber.
いいわ。これ以上の忠告は本当に感情移入になっちゃうから言わない。せいぜい気をつけなさい。いくらセイバーが優れているからってマスターであるあなたがやられちゃったらそれまでなんだから。
She turns her back and starts walking. But, as if she's seen a ghost, her feet stop dead in their tracks.
登坂？
The instant I call out to her, my left hand throbs in pain.
ねえ、お話は終わり？
A young voice echoes through the night. The voice, like a song, is unmistakably that of a young girl. My vision is drawn to the top of the hill. I don't know when the clouds parted, but a bright moon is now shining in the sky. There. Oh. A long shadow. There's a strange shape that shouldn't be here in this pale town of shadow pictures.
Berserker.
Tosaka mumbles a word I'm not accustomed to hearing. I don't even need to ask. That thing is definitely a servant. And at the same time, an overwhelming sense of death exceeding even the one in the fire 10 years ago.
Konbanwa, Oni-chan. こうして会うのは2度目だね。
The girl smiles as she says so. That innocence sends a chill down my spine. No, spine is an understatement. Not just my body, but my mind is frozen as well. That thing is a monster. I'm not staring at it, but just its presence makes me unable to move. I understand naturally that I'll die in the instant I move even a muscle. It feels like a knife is pushed right against my naked chest. Still, I feel nothing. Probably because there's too little hope of me getting out of this alive. All fears and impatience are drowned by hopelessness, so I don't feel a thing.
やば、あいつ桁違いだ。
Unlike me who's paralyzed, Tosaka has the composure to stand ready. But it'll come to nothing. Even though I can only see her back, I can sense the despair she's feeling.
あれ？なんだ、あなたのサーバントはお休みなんだ。つまんないな。2匹一緒に潰してあげようって思ったのに。
The girl says unhappily as she looks down at us from the top of the hill. We're in an even worse situation now. That girl knows Tosaka's servant is not here. And then... The girl bows unsuitably for the situation.
はじめまして、リン。私はイリア。 イリアスフィール・フォン・アインツベルンって言えばわかるでしょ。アインツベルン。
Tosaka's body moves slightly as she seems to recognize that name. Perhaps she liked Tosaka's reaction as the girl smiles happily, and
じゃあ行くね。やっちゃえバーサーカー。
just like that, huh? She orders the strange shape behind her, as if she's singing. Uh-oh. The larger body flies through the air. The thing called Berserker comes flying down the whole distance from the top of the hill.
シロ下がって。
Saber runs, her raincoat comes off and my vision is blocked for a second. Saber runs to Berserker's landing point, and Berserker lands with a huge thud at exactly the same moment. The air trembles. Saber stops Berserker's great sword with her invisible sword. Saber makes a pained face. There. Berserker's gigantic sword flashes like a whirlwind. A great thunderous roar. The crash of steel that almost tears the air results in defeat for Saber. A sliding sound. Even though once she blocked Berserker's giant sword, she is driven back along with the sword she used to block it. Saber's posture collapses. The lead-colored servant chases after her. The gray figure swings its giant sword as if it's the only thing it knows how to do. Saber doesn't have time to dodge it and blocks it with her sword. It does not matter if Saber's sword is invisible or not. Each of Berserker's attacks is a fatal one that must be blocked with all her might. Therefore, Saber has to stay on the defense. For her, the only chance of victory is to find a means of attack in between Berserker's attacks. But that's only if Berserker leaves an opening. The Black Rock sword is just like a storm, with such a large body, and with such a large sword, and yet Berserker is moving faster than Saber. The attack he sends out are just smashing swings with no technique to them. But that's enough. If there is an overwhelming power and speed, there is no room for technique. Techniques are something humans invented to compensate for their weaknesses. Weaknesses are things that giants doesn't have. That the giant doesn't have. Run. I remember with my first body. That thing cannot be defeated. Saber will be killed if we go on like this. So she should run away. It would be easy for her to get away if it were just her here. She should know that already. Oh, it's bad. My body's numb, but maybe that's why my mind is so calm. The storm of death that strikes without a pause. Unable to take all the attacks, Saber retreats, and this time, the final blow that cannot be blocked is swung. Saber's body rises. She manages to defend against Berserker's giant sword, even in a bad posture. But that's only to avoid a fatal wound. She couldn't brace herself to totally block the giant sword, and the impact blows her away. She falls, her body drawing a big arc. Before she falls on her back, Saber turns in midair and lands on her feet. She manages to recover. But red blood is running down her chest. How stupid of me. I was forgetting something important. I don't know how much a servant can fight in one day, but this is already her third battle. And on top of that, Saber has the wound in her chest inflicted by Lancer. Saber moves as if to protect her chest. Berserker moves and slashes like a raging wind at the wounded Saber and receives many attacks on its back. Oh, we got the double team going on now. I don't know what kind of magic it is, but Berserker's body explodes from Tosaka's spell. Judging from the magical energy given out, the magic directly hitting Berserker must be an impact close to that of a high-caliber pistol. But even that is meaningless. It doesn't even scratch Berserker's body. He isn't nullifying magic like Saber. It's just that the magic's not doing any damage. But Tosaka does not stop casting. Berserker ignores Tosaka's spells and charges at Saber. Oh man, She is messed up. Saber rises her head in pain. She holds her sword up to still fight. That gets my body to move again.
ダメだ逃げろセイバー
I yell with all my might. Hearing that, she faces the enemy she cannot compare to. There is no end to Berserker's attacks. Saber's body sinks every time she blocks a blow as she slowly approaches her final moment. But still, we're in that small frame. Does she have all that power? Saber doesn't retreat. She blocks the surging waves of the giant sword and tries to drive back Berserker with her willpower. There is no chance of victory. The way she's holding her ground looks bizarre, as she should know she would be defeated if she keeps fighting. Maybe it sends something in her posture. God, that's terrifying. The figure, silent up to now, roars. A blow impossible to block. The blow that even swings through Saber blows her away. The sound of something falling in the distance. Fresh blood spills out. In that pool of blood with a body that should not be able to get back up. Aw, man. Look how badly it messed up her armor, too. And then you can start seeing the sword here, too. She stands up unconsciously. It's as if she's saying I would be killed if she didn't do so. That makes me realize how foolish my choice was. Berserker stops after defeating Saber. Without paying attention to me or Tosaka, it waits for its master's orders at the top of the hill.
勝てるわけないじゃない。私のバーサーカーはね、ギリシャ最大の英雄なんだから。
That's a huge hint.
ギリシャ最大の英雄ってまさか。そうよ。そこにいるのはヘラクレスっていう魔物。
Ah, she just out-named him, huh?
あなたたち程度が刺激できる英雄とは格が違う。最強の怪物なんだから。
The girl who called herself Illya narrows her eyes cheerfully. Those are eyes of joy about to finish off her enemies. I don't even need to say who the ones getting killed are. Saber will be killed right here. Then what am I gonna do? Am I gonna fight that monster in her place? I can't do that. Just approaching that thing without being prepared would stop my heart. Oh, you know what we're gonna do. Oh, you know. You know, I know. Let's go. I can't abandon someone who needs help. Emi Ashido has chosen to live like that. And most importantly, I can't leave the girl who fought to protect me.
いいわよ、バーサーカー。そいつ再生するから、一撃で仕留めなさい。
Berserker resumes his action. I run with all my strength. There's no way I can do anything against that monster. So the least I can do is push Saber away and save her from Berserker's attack. I fall. Why? I was gonna push Saber away and get Saber away from Berserker and think about what to do after that, so why? Why? Why am I on the ground unable to breathe? I hear shocked voices. First is from Saber, who is right in front of me, and Tosaka is astonished at a distance. And for some reason, Illya, who is looking down at me dumbfounded, is also surprised. I'm missing my stomach. I'm on the ground. On the asphalt are a small amount of blood compared to the wound's soft-looking organ, bones, and many things like that.
そうか。なんて間抜け。
In short, I didn't make it in time. Yes, it was impossible to push Saber out of the way, so I just shielded her. And my stomach was blown out by that sword. Jeez, I'm ashamed of myself for failing even in a situation like this. I've been working hard to become a superhero, but I keep making mistakes when it really counts.
なんで
The silver-haired girl asks in a daze, after standing there dumbfounded for a while.
もういい。こんなのつまんない。
Without finishing off Saber, she calls Berserker back.
リン、次に会ったら殺すから。
The girl leaves. After watching her leave, my vision cuts out. My consciousness fades away. I really can't recover this time. I was somehow saved when I was killed by Lancer, but that won't happen again. There's probably no magic that can save a person who has lost most of their stomach.
あんた何考えてるのよ。分かってるの？もう助けるなんてできないっていうのに。
I hear an angry voice. It's probably Tosaka. She seems really angry and I'm sorry. But it can't be helped. It's not like I can do everything like Tosaka. All I could use was my body. So that's why. The only thing I could do was to use my body to shield Saber. Now we're on day 4, partner. This is a story from a winter 5 years ago. It was a night with a beautiful moon. I wasn't doing anything, just watching the moon with Kiritsugu. Even though it was winter, the weather wasn't cold. The corridor was only a little chilly, and it was a good night to enjoy the moon. Back then, Kiritsugu didn't leave the house much. Not going outside, he would just laze carelessly around the house. I regret it even now, thinking back to it. Why didn't I notice that it was like the actions of an animal that knows its time of death?
子供の頃、僕は正義の味方に憧れてた。
Suddenly, the man himself, a superhero in my child's eyes, said that as if yearning for it.
なんだよそれ。憧れてたって諦めたのかよ。
I became angry and asked him. Kiritsugu laughed apologetically and looked up at the sky.
うん。残念ながらね。ヒーローは期間限定で、大人になると名乗るのが難しくなるんだ。
I agreed with that. I didn't know why, but I thought it couldn't be wrong because Kiritsugu said so.
そっか。それじゃしょうがないな。
そうだね。本当にしようがない。
Kiritsugu answers. So of course my response was determined.
しょうがないから俺が代わりになってやるよ。じいさんは大人だからもう無理だけど、俺なら大丈夫だろ。任せろって。じいさんの夢は。
I'll make it come true. Before I could finish, my father laughed. He made a face like he didn't even need to hear the rest. After breathing in, Emiya Kiritsugu said,
ああ。安心した。
He quietly closed his eyes, and his life ended. How perfectly well timed that was, too, right? Since he looked so peaceful, I thought he would wake up again in the morning, so I didn't disturb him. Perhaps being used to seeing death factored in too. Without doing anything, I just looked up at the man who was my father as he entered a long sleep. There were no sounds of insects in the garden as he was silent. In the bright night, I remembered only my eyes being hot. I did not cry out, nor did I feel sad. But I could not stop my tears until the moon sank. That is the story from a winter 5 years ago.